Today we're going to be making this Boho Crochet Rainbow. This is a free pattern on the Stitch Foundry blog and there's a link in the description box below. I've made this rainbow in a number of colours. Pastel version, which I think is really pretty. This is sort of the dark and moody rainbow. It's sporting the lovely sunshine applique, also available with the pattern. Then we have nice little vintage pastel. I'm going to be showing you row by row and stitch by stitch how to make it. I should have really mentioned at the beginning not to worry about these ends because we're going to be making tassels, as you can see here, and the ends just get tied in with the tassels. So to begin, start with a slip knot and we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm using US crochet terms. So now we work a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. That loop doesn't count as a chain. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 4th chain and we work a double crochet. And then we work 2 double crochet in every chain. I'm going to work the rest of this row and you can pause the video and I'll meet you at the end. We now have 14 stitches. Okay, so for row 2 you turn your work and chain 1, and that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We're going to be working in the back loops, so if I just show you, these are our front loops because they're at the front facing us, and these are the back loops. So working into the back loop, make a single crochet. You then chain 3 and then work again into the next back loop, single crochet. And this is how we proceed for row 2. So it's chain 3, single crochet in the back loop. You can work your way across the row and I'll meet you at the end. And then you single crochet into that last stitch. So you should have 13 chain 3 loops, 14 single crochet. So I'll just show you how we're going to count that. We'll count these loops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. To fasten off and break yarn just means work a chain, then we're going to cut the yarn and then pull that through. So with the instructions it says with wrong side facing, work into the unworked front loops of row 1. When we were making this row, we were working into these back loops here, and now we're going to work into these front loops from row 1. So we're just going to push that ruffle down to do that, and we're going to join our yarn into this first unworked loop. Right, so to do that, just make a slip knot in your next yarn, and then you put your hook into that front loop, then you pick up your yarn and pull it through like that. So for this row we're going to push our ruffle forward as we've mentioned and chain 2, which is our first half double crochet, chain 1 for the next repeat, and then we work half double crochet. So the repeat is it's chain 1, half double crochet into those front loops. So we're just going to work that across the row and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, we're just going to work our last half double crochet into that first chain, and it's important to make sure that your stitch count adds up. So I would then just stop and check that you have your 14 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Because it's quite easy to miss one off the ends. And if you do that, your rainbow doesn't keep its shape. Okay, so for row 4, we're going to turn our work and chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet. Then for our repeat, it's a chain 1 and then a 3 double crochet cluster into that chain 1 space. Chain 1, and then for our 3 double crochet cluster, that's basically where you work half a double crochet 3 times. So you leave the second part of the double crochet unworked. So we do that 3 times. And now yarn over and pull through all those 4 loops on your hook. Chain 1, and then working into that chain 1 space, do the same. So you start off working a double crochet, but you don't finish it 3 times. And then you've got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4. So we're going to continue that across the row, and I'll meet you at the end. We're going to do a double crochet in the top of that chain 2. And so again, we're going to fasten off. So for row 5, we're going to be using our next colour, which is our blue. And this time we're staying on the right side. So we're not turning our work, we're going to be working into this right side. So we're going to join this colour into the top of the chain 3, which was our double crochet. Just pull that through and we chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's our first double crochet. We're then going to work 2 double crochet in the chain space, and then into that chain space, and then a double crochet into the top of our cluster, which is just there. And I know it's difficult to see with this dark yarn. Normally I avoid dark yarn, and this is the reason, but obviously with a rainbow, it's kind of the yarn is the yarn. So there's our top of the cluster there. So we're working into that space there, 2 double crochets in the space into the chain space, and then a double crochet into that top of the cluster. So we're going to work our way across the row, and I'll meet you at the end. Just working a double crochet into the top of that chain 3. So that is our row 5, and then for row 6 we're keeping this yarn, so we're going to chain 1, turn your work, and then single crochet back into that same stitch. So that chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and we work a single crochet in every stitch across. So this is a nice easy row. I'll meet you at the end of this row. Just working our last one now, and then we're going to fasten off. It's gone really dark now. When I started this tutorial, it was actually sunny. Only 15 minutes ago it was sunny outside, and now there's like really dark shadows. For row 7 I missed out filming for some reason the beginning of the row. For row 7 you're working V stitches, and that's where you work a V stitch, then you skip a stitch, then a V stitch, which is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, then you skip a stitch and work a V stitch in the next one. Okay, I've just done my last V stitch, and so then we're doing a double crochet into the last stitch, and then you count your V stitches at the end of the row and you'll have 19 V stitches. So row 8 is the popcorn row, and if I was going to have a favourite row it would be this row because I love making popcorn stitches. We're going to join in our yellow yarn, chain 3, and that counts as our first double crochet. Then we're going to chain 1 for our repeat. Actually it's not for our repeat, we're just chaining 1. And then popcorn. So the popcorn stitch, we're working into the V-stitch chain space, so that's in there. So you make 3 double crochets, and some patterns a popcorn will be 4 or 5 or more, but in this pattern we're just doing 3. So when you've made your 3 double crochets, you take your hook out of the loop and then you insert your hook into the top of the first stitch, and then you get your loop and put that over your hook, and then you just pull that through the top. Okay, so then we chain 2. I'll show you that again. You make your 3 double crochets, pull your loop up a bit before you take your hook out, then you insert it into the top of the first double crochet, and the way you can tell is you have, this is your last double crochet that you made, and then the second last one, and that's your first. Insert your hook into there under both of the loops, so into the top of that stitch, and then you get your loop and you put that over your hook and then tighten it, just give it a little tug, and then you pull that through, so it's like a slip stitch. You pull that through and then chain 2 for the repeat. You work your way across, working the popcorn stitch into the chain space of the V stitch, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so then we chain 1 and work a double crochet into the top of the chain 3, and then we fasten off. So for row 9, which is our orange row, we're going to be working on the right side again. So right side facing, join colour F, so we're going into the top of our double crochet, pull in and a new colour, chain 2, so that counts as our first half double crochet, and then we've got a chain 1 space here, so we're going to work another half double crochet. This whole row is half double crochets. Then we're going to skip this popcorn stitch, and then just into that space we're working 3 half double crochets. So that's this row, 3 half double crochets into the chain 2 space, so in between all the popcorn stitches. So you can work your way across the row, and I'll meet you as always at the end. Miss our popcorn stitch and we work a half double crochet into that chain 1 space, and then work a half double crochet into the top of that stitch. So we're going to fasten off and cut our yarn. For row 10, we're working on the wrong side, so with the wrong side facing, we're going to join our colour into the front loops. So this again, this is our front loop here at the front, and that's our back loop, and we're going to be doing the same sort of thing as we did for our ruffle before. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, single crochet back into that same stitch, chain 3, and then single crochet into the front loop again, and that's our repeat across this row. And we're just going to work our way across the row. It takes a little bit of time, but at least now we know this is our last row and we're nearly finished our rainbow. So I'll meet you at the end of the row. So you still with me? We've got 1 more single crochet to go, and then we're going to fasten off. So I'm just going to show you next what to do with all these ends. I should have really mentioned at the beginning not to worry about these ends, because we're going to be making tassels, as you can see here, and the ends just get tied in with the tassels. If you don't want to make tassels, you can also make, well, I still have tassels here, or fringing, but there's also a little sun, a plique sun pattern, which you can find on the blog. So for the tassels, we're going to be working them into the wrong side. So turn your work upside down and back to front, basically. So we have a rainbow facing down, and For this you need your yarn. So first of all, work out how long you want your tassels to be, and then double your yarn over. And then that is the length that you're going to be using. For most of mine, I did around 5 strands because you then double it, so it's like 10 strands. But if you want more, you can do more. And you might as well do for both, if you're doing both sides, do for both sides all at the same time. So that means I'm doing 10 strands altogether. So you're then going to cut your yarn. Don't worry about it not being very even at the minute. Okay, so now I'm going to get my 5 strands, matches my nails, not intentionally, although I do really love this colour. Get our rainbow. We're going to be working into one of the edge stitches. So you know where we've either done a single crochet, or it's been like a chain 2 or chain 3, or a half double crochet or a double crochet. You get your yarn, fold it in half, and hold on to it, kind of pinch it. So you're pulling it with this finger. You're going to go into that area under 2 loops, put your hook under your strands, and then we're just going to pull them through like that, and then get the ends of your strands and any other yarn ends from the row. So we've got this one here, we're going to put that through as well. Just going to fold that over like that and pull it through. Okay, so we're going to work our way across and give the rest of our rainbow the tassels it deserves. We've done all our tassels now, and I'm just going to trim them up, and there we have it, our Boho Crochet Rainbow. Don't forget you can get the free pattern on my blog. The link is in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Happy crocheting.